Alright, hello and welcome. Alright, so where are we? Mic is on. Let me turn off my thing so it doesn't interrupt my stream. Pause syncing for 8 hours, very good. So yeah, I just attempted to go buy blood runes for the first time just as stream was starting. Here's the guy that sells the mystic and your little magic cape. But then there's this guy here that sells runes. And he can't trust me without with any of his supplies, so looks like we're gonna have to change course a little bit. I think we need to do hand in the sand. Hey, welcome to the stream. Nice seeing your name again. Glad you could make it back. So I think we could either do lunar diplomacy. Hey, nice. Quest cape. Let's go. Lumbridge Elite, here we come. You get a scobo. Alright, so let's get to the farming guild first, and that way I can process what I want to do today, because I was just gonna go buy some blood runes. Haha, nice. Yeah, staff makes some sense. Then yeah, you can obviously switch between them, so. Okay, yeah, let's just get to the farming guild. Yeah, it's big for the account. Like, that unlocks a decent amount of stuff. It's so convenient having a scorching bow. I think I only have, I think we only have like 4 of them between me and my brother, so it'd be nice to just quality of life have all 3. So I kind of want to get back there, but I haven't been playing too much of my group Ironman. I want to get back to it to a certain degree, but there's just so much to do in life sometimes. So CIS or CIR. But yeah, I think I enjoy the Tormented Demons. I think it was a good low-key monster encounter, or whatever you want to call it, that I think that was a big, improvement for my switching. Just like it's... There you go. I want to say we have like 3 Burning Claws, maybe? And then, the 4 synapses. I think that's how it ended up. I think I can do Teaks today. I think I saw that. Yeah, there's one here that got timed incorrectly. The one at the oasis above the worm colossus. But yeah, it looks like we can go and do 3 hardwoods. So we'll do that. We'll skip doing the maples. And then we'll go and do our tree run. We could go buy blood runes, I guess, at the bank in the the bank in the wilderness is the accurate way of saying it, but the magic shop there. Could do lunar diplomacy, hand in the sand. I think we should probably just do hand in the sand and be done with it, and open up a good blood magic spot. Okay, so I guess we'll just go and harvest the snapdragon, see what contract we get. Yeah, It's the best one, but it's the worst upgrade, if that makes sense, you know? Arclight is pretty solid on its own, so... And then if you're trying to farm, you know, more of them, you know, the Arclight is solid, and then you can just use, you know, either the magic or the range. I'm a very cheap person, so that's why I picked the, you know, I'd rather use amethyst arrows than, you know, blood runes, basically. Or whatever the, I don't know, it's fire runes, and I would imagine blood runes, right? For the spell to keep going. And so yeah, in my head, I could be mistaken, but I think... Okay, yeah, soul runes, that makes sense. I'm always running out of blood runes on my account, and I think that's just because of the other Arceus spell, the little minion or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of that ever. The Thralls, there you go. Yeah, it took me a second. Okay, let's just dig this spot, I guess. Let's see if I got a cactus in here. Nope. Nothing catches my eyes. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, is mostly Yama, right? And then I'm sure there's another use somewhere, but... Okay, so Cadentine, we actually have Cadentine seeds today. We got our first ones yesterday. We've had to skip 2 of them. So here's my Cadentine, and then let's go and get our cactus. But yeah, I see this Scobo, you know, obviously at the Delve boss. And then I think it's good for the 3 other the 3 total things in my head of... Well, there's 4 of them, right? Because you have Krill as well. So you have Krill, you have Mocha, you have Tormented Demons, and you have Demonic Gorillas, right? The Purging Staff is pretty nice, though. Like, its stats are pretty solid. Like, it has really good, like, magic defense, I think, and magic accuracy, and... Okay. So let's go and plant our cactus, and then we'll go do our tree run. And I guess I'm still debating what I want to do today. My plan. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's just get on with our farm run. I think we're just gonna go do Hand in the Sand and then get... I'd rather not spend all my money on... you know, I might be giving too much weight for how much money I'm gonna be losing if I don't do this, but it's... You know, every rune I buy, it goes up another 0.1% if I go to the wilderness spot versus if I go to the Yanil spot. So I think if I just do this quest, I permanently have access to a better shop, and I think that's what we'll do then. So we'll just do Hand in the Sand, go off script. I didn't realize you had to do Hand in the Sand to unlock the magic shop there. More Cadentine, so I guess at this point we're good on those. Nice to see a Celatrus come in. You know, Mary, you had said a while ago I should, I think, do the Varrock Diaries, and I think you're kind of right. I was just like, it's another weekly or daily thing I have to do is just go and buy some battle staffs, but at this point it would be kind of nice. I think I have some orbs kind of going. You know, 45, 450 almost. I forget where I even got these water ones. Okay. Alright, let's get back into gaming mode. You know, I've been working out a decent amount and I've been trying to help my back go. Right. I think at this point I have the actual money that I can afford to buy them without having to craft them right away into the orbs and then go in high alchem. So before I didn't have the money, so it's just like, I have to buy them, craft them, alchem, and like it just was a cycle I didn't want to like commit myself to every day. Right. Okay, where am I? Right. We're at the farming guild. Get this, get this. So we got our traveling gear. We want a pandemonium teleport. We probably have a ring of dueling on, but let's just double check. Very cool. Birthrope's actually not quicker than Falador, so we'll skip that. Very nice. Yeah, we're gonna be getting, hopefully I'll be getting, my goal is to get the Barrow gloves and a few things along the way, and then we're right back on to, I guess we're gonna do a little bit of PVM for fun, and then we're back to Slayer. And I think at that point my GP on this account is really gonna take off. I have a mill just waiting for me. Where's it at? I think it's more valuable to not convert this to money though. You know, it's 1 mil in value, and it, I think the ether is going to be more valuable to me in the long run, so I guess that's my rainy day, but... Okay, so money stack. Let's get my... I like to do 1 run, 1 herb spot, I mean to say. So 5 and 6. And then let's go get our trees. We're gonna go do our, I guess our teaks today, hardwood. We only have 3 spots. The 4th one I'll just do off stream because it's not ready yet, but the other ones are. And yeah, we have our camphor now. So they're not much more XP than mahogany, which was a little, I wouldn't say disappointing, but I thought they were gonna be like 50% more, but it ended up being like less than 10%, I think. So we got those 3. We're not going to do tree run. Let's just go ahead and get these pineapples then. So 5 of them. And then I actually do want to, I have to remember my Quetzal is that they just made the update. So the Quetzal now teleports to some very convenient spots. Ooh. You called it, huh? Oops. You called your shot. I got spooned yesterday. We got the zombie axe. So I got a zombie axe. I have to get my you know, I don't know if you've been lurking in the comments or anything, but I'm going to be getting 70. I have to get to at least 71 smithing and then boost to get to 75 so that I can do the hard wilderness diary, because that's a new requirement in the game to go and do the single bosses in the wilderness. So that's a new requirement for this account. So I'll have to get to 71, and well, that means we're going to get to 70, and that meant going for the zombie axe made a lot more sense. So let's just dismiss him. Okay, let's just go teleport, and then we'll go Kastori. But yeah, now you have a snipe on your, oh, I didn't bring my tools, shoot. Okay, not too important, 1 and 2. And I guess we just pay the man anyways. And I'm pretty sure I don't even need the seed dipper. Let's put that away and see what happens. I'm actually like 99% sure. Cool. Okay, farm run. How do I do this again? Let's go Pandemonium. I always forget the Catherby one, and then it kind of like stumbles me for a second of... But it's only 5 spots. So yeah, I think we'll just have to do Hand in the Sand. It shouldn't take... I don't think it's a long quest, most likely. That will get me the maid shop unlocked up there, and then I can go buy the blood runes. You know, blood runes are not cheap, so it's probably not worth what I'm doing, but I kind of want to run a little experiment and see how it feels. See if I enjoy it or not. And that's to do some blood magic at Dagonoff's. Okay, so that's planted. I put the thing in. Let's just go ahead and go to Catherby. I have to stop at a bank because I notice I don't have my teleport to Fossil Island. So yeah, we're just on our questing grind, I suppose. There's always one more quest, I think, is the rule to this account right now. Can't even get blood. I mean, I could just go to the Wilderness Bank, but as I said, the more you buy, the more expensive they are there. So it's everywhere, but it's even more so there compared to the place in Unil and then the place in Lunar Island. And so yeah, we'll have to get to 60 mining to do lunar diplomacy. That's on the radar of things we'll probably do next week. Nice. Yeah, that I love the Scorching Bow. Okay, and then we'll go finish up with our gnomes. And then yeah, we have to actually go and get the warped scepter still. So that's, you know, I'm getting pulled in like 5 directions, and I guess I'm trying to figure out which direction I want to go. I think we go to Camtorum and we go and buy a ton of steel and mithril warhammers and such. Gnome Stronghold. I think that's what's kind of... That's what I said I was going to do yesterday, so I kind of remember now. My plan was... For some reason I was getting excited and wanted just to go to DK's, but I kind of need the... the idea behind that was to get the warped scepter first, right? So, gotta get the warped scepter before I can go. wonder what the requirements are for while Guthix sleeps, because that would be. I think that's something, you know, obviously I have a long road ahead before I get there, but looks like I have almost everything that I'm gonna need. So that's probably gonna be like the first quest that I do after I get the Void Waker, which, you know, that's, as I said, could be some months away, but that's probably going to be the first thing I focus on after the wilderness grind. There's maybe a little bit of like bossing for fun, but I think it's, you know, to unlock Tormented Demons, get at least 2 drops and get the Burning Claws, and then probably the focus is going to be more on Demonic Gorillas, I think, at that point. Try to get my Zenites. But nice. Did they always have this zip line? I feel like I never noticed it. And then I started doing my seaweed runs, and I would walk around or whatever, and then I had noticed it, and I was like, oh, what is that? Okay, so we're gonna go do our hardwood, so let's not get distracted. I think it's actually quicker to use the mushroom than walk there. Okay. I just refused to do seaweed all my life, so now that I started doing that on this account, I've noticed. Alright, so we have some teaks here. Let that XP come in. Alright, so yeah, I think my final answer is I have to go and get some material to go and get to 70 smithing. I think that's our current plan. And we'll go do some shopscape. I had kind of said each... So let's just look at an XP chart. Old school RuneScape. It was kind of like each sword was about half a level, right? So if I just go to like a level 55-ish, to see what that looks like, it is about 15, 16k. So if I just say every sword is about 7k, and then it's 7, so yeah, each Warhammer is going to turn into about 1k XP off of my very quick math. It might be completely off. Then if I come here and I go smithing, and then I say level 70, we would need about 500 of each. So we're going to need to just buy all of our money's worth, right? And then as we're doing Giant's Foundry, we'll make the money back. So I think that's the plan. Let's go ahead and drop these. Go see our tool leprechaun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab our seed dipper. Grab 3 of these. Let's go to our house. And then we're gonna fill up our Quetzal today. We'll go to Camtorum. We'll go and start buying a good amount of Warhammers. Looks like we have a terrible amount of inventory space, huh? Okay, so then if I type in mithril claws, just kind of tempted to see what other methods there are on buying things. Yeah, there's only 4 of them in inventory, so I don't feel like that's the route. I feel like there's a good shop on Mount Carloom or whatever. So I kind of want to check that one out, see how much material's in there. There's a weapon shop, so let's go look at that real quick. They have battle axes and warhammers. There's only 2 mithril, so that's not even better than the warhammer shop. I think there was 3 of them, right? Okay, so let me just type in mithril warhammer. Looks like we might get the level up. Gonna be kind of close. And yeah, you can buy 4 of them in Jatizo for a little bit more than the ones in Camtorum. I wonder if that's the spot we should go. Okay, let's look at the weapons galore. And yeah, they sell just mithril. Okay, I mean, we might end up going there and buying these mithril claws, perhaps. So what I'm trying to say is, if I go to Camtorum and buy a lot of them, eventually I'm gonna get, you know, I think it's 4 steel and 3 mithril. And so there's level 73, very cool. We can now grow Lantidime. Yeah, okay. So what's in my head is that when I'm buying the material I need for Giant's Foundry, much of it is going to be from the Camtorum, but you get more steel items than mithril. And so when I try to rebalance it, maybe I go to Jatizo eventually and stock up there. And I think I just used a bucket on our flower patch, which this spot doesn't require a compost, if you guys so you know, this is all protected, it's free to never die, and the ultra compost doesn't actually improve the amount of lymph roots that you get. Okay, so let's go to the farming guild first. Farming guild is here, hunter guild. What I call a farming guild? Okay. And then we're going to go to Camtorum next, which is that, so we don't need any of this. And then let's just see what we have. I wish I saved some of my worst, like I cooked all those pyre fox and a bunch of things like that. I think I have it here, yeah, there you go. So we'll use all of these, release. And then I guess we'll use our sunlight antelope meat. You know, we're going to eventually have to do a lot more sunlight antelopes to keep our bow charged up. Or having the ammo, I mean to say. So, we're going to get more and more of this meat anyways. Okay, how do I do this again? Maybe I use it on this guy? Recharge whistle. There you go. Recharge whistle. Alright, looks like it's full at this point. Okay. So let's go ahead and teleport to Camtorum. And then, yeah, my least favorite thing to do in this game. I have a lot of least favorites, huh? But, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Shopscape. And yeah, I think we're just gonna spend almost all my money on, I don't know why he's pathing so weird. On some of these Warhammers now. I think it's over here. Yeah, so I have a little bit in here from a couple days ago. Go ahead and highlight them. I wonder if these like swords are worth ever using, but you know, getting some, I guess they're swords, not long swords. If there were long swords, there's maybe a chance. And so yeah, what my math was about like 500 of them. So we'll see how far that gets us. Yeah, right here I see that I need about 500 more K. I wonder if I should just look up the expected XP and stuff. So while that's going, oh, we're having trouble world hopping. Hopefully my internet's good. No dropped frames. Hopefully that's just a RuneScape thing. You know, I'm pretty sure this is terrible for their servers, all like the world hopping and such. I know they can get like overloaded when people are doing it too. So I just wish trying to convince them that they need to, you know, just be able to buy noted items and have like unlimited stock. Okay. Okay, let's go in here. You know, maybe what my proposal would be for this to Jagax is at the Giant's Foundry, you can just buy, if you have the smithing level, you can buy bars from the shop. Or maybe you just buy them in the not Giant's Foundry, but the blast furnace, potentially instead. I know you can buy ores there, but it would make sense if they have such a massive industrial plant capacity. That they would sell their excess material. And just make it kind of somewhat competitive with these current methods of gathering material. There you go. Go farm some mithril dragons for some mithril bars. Giant mold drops 1 every 43 kills. Dust Devils looks like a very good method, obviously. What's my, I think I have the Slayer level to do those now. Maybe I go and burst to, I'd said I was going to burst or try to get my magic up doing PVM, but I'm pretty sure you make your money back doing Dust Devils. In terms of total value. But yeah, I think once I get to 70, I'll never have to do Shopscape again, hopefully. I've never done that new rune crafting method to get a lot of runes very quickly instead of going and buying from shops. You can forget the whole method. I think it was a Desert Treasure 2 unlock, if I recall. But yeah, I have this, Scar rune crafting. Okay. On my group Ironman, I did, so many barrel runs, and I did so many cats, turning them into death runes, that I've never had to go and get blood runes. Wow, nice. I've had to buy a lot of fire runes, especially when Yama came out. The cost per rune, or cost per spell, was higher than it is now, and we were farming Yama quite a bit. And so yeah, I don't even know how many fire runes we went through, but tens of thousands. Yeah, I'm gonna go propose my idea to Jagex right now. They have a few shops like that. Like the way you buy wine and stuff in the game, and some of the new shops, they don't have limits. You can just buy infinity of them. I keep going back without world hopping. So yeah, I still want my the blast furnace shop to essentially sell Oh, it looks like I'm behind someone. Let's just go ahead and go to the top of the list. Yeah, it would be nice, I guess, if you could just buy unlimited mithril bars and such. But now they, unleashed sailing, and to get all the upgrades there, you kind of need the bars. So it would kind of make it easier for Ironmen to get rune bars and adamant bars, but maybe they just let you buy unlimited mithril and steel, maybe not adamant and rune, but I don't think it's that important. They could just put a smithing requirement. I get your point. I guess to me the Ironman mode is, more so about like PVM drops to me, and getting your own supplies, I suppose, is part of it, but yeah, I don't really feel like this is gaming. Hello there. Well, it looks like we're hopping to a bad world or something. Alright, fine. Then at least they should add another miscellanea quest, and one of them is to get bars and armor or something. Invest in the smith. Thank you. Okay, let's just hop to this German world. Oh, I think I have to go here. I mean, you can already buy like unlimited ore at the blast furnace, so. Yeah, but they have like 500 or so in stock, right? It's like a very high amount. Alright, what are we looking at anyways? 110? We're almost a third the way there for steel, and then when we're about a third the way done with our money, so we might just have to take a break and then, go and use some of the resources, see how far that gets us, and then I think we'll go to Jatizo after we do most of our smithing, and we can buy a lot more mithril at one time, so that will speed up the process. Let's hop to the bounty world real quick. No, just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't want to go stop off and do Motherlode Mine and go get a coal bag, but that would be my long-term route. Because yeah, I'm gonna eventually do that, because if I get the Ursine chain mace, then I think I need at least 81 smithing, and so I think at that point I would just I think I'll go for like the Falador achievement first, getting the full prospector, and then I think I'll sell the full prospector and get a coal bag and a gem bag, possibly, with all those points. I think how I'll do that, if I have any leftovers, I would just buy gems. And then, at that point, maybe I would go and do blast furnace, and then whatever bars I have would then go into Giant's Foundry, and that would probably give me a good amount. Like, that probably like the highest I'll ever have to take my smithing. I don't know what else I need, what requirements are above 81, I suppose. Like, I think, crystal armors, I forget the level, but I think nice. Crystal. So yeah, Bofa's 82 with crafting, so I'd be able to boost with 81. Oh, let me bank this. I wish it would stay on the tab, but such is life. Bring out my French. C'est la vie. That engaging RuneScape content that we all come and love. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do a ton of, like grotesque. Nice. A ton of like grotesque guardians and things that drop bars as well. Doing revenants, I'm gonna have like infinity adamant bars. So maybe there's potentially I don't have to get to 81, buying or going the gold nugget route and getting a coal bag and all that. So I think that's how my future will land. So really it's just going to be about getting mithril. You know, if I get this Dragon Hunter wand, I'm going to be doing Hoi Quaddle hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe not. I have to do I want to do Royal Titans first, and that might not go as quick as I'm suspecting. Nice. Yeah, I have a few people that have we'll have to get the whole crew together and go. I'm debating how I want to do it. If you know, you go in with 3 people and everyone prays the right thing, then it's permanently boosted. But then I'm taking a lot more damage. So I wonder if you know, if you're a maxed account, I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. But I feel like on a low level account that's going to have terrible armor and everything, I wonder how that will do. And so yeah, I think it's just if we have a lot of people, then I think it's everyone just prays their own thing. Or do you do like a team-based thing of like, all right, we need 3 people to pray, protect for magic, 3 to do melee, and 3 to do range. Oops. Yeah, I guess I'll have to look into how much the boost is and all that. The boosted damage. Or are you saying that even if you switch prayers, it shouldn't matter? Okay. You know, that's the benefits of being on a 99 defense account with good gear, is just tank a lot of the low level stuff. And so when I did it, it was just put on 1 protection prayer and you barely even have to eat. And then I just spam clicked through it, so that was on a terrible ping though. My ping is obviously about 35 on our best worlds right now. Before it was like in the 90s when I was in a tropical island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so I think I should be able to time to avoid all that damage now too. Because yeah, now I can actually time my Yama skips, and I can time my Akka when he's doing that room. You can turn the invocation up where it's, I think you only get 1 tick to do your little hops. And that actually makes the room, it goes quicker, but it's also more fun, I think. It's like almost boring waiting for it now. But yeah, I think between Revenants for my Addy bars and I think Dust Devils for Mithril, our smithing will be banked. So we'll just unlock our zombie axe today. Well, if we have enough time. You know, I was thinking I was getting over 100k an hour, if I recall correctly, and what we need 500, so that might just be on Monday's stream. We'll probably end up finishing up, I would suppose. And so yeah, then after this, we'll go for the Warp Scepter. After Warp Scepter, I'll go for Berserker Ring. I want to upgrade my Salve Amulet. I want to upgrade my Berserker Ring and probably like a Slayer Helm Black Mask eventually. So I'll probably go and do 3 Imbue Scrolls, and that should be enough for the entire game. If I get a Ring of the Gods or anything, like you can just, you know, move them around, so. I think I only really need 2 at any one time though, so maybe that makes more sense. I think it takes like less than an hour to get an Imbue, so it might just be very convenient to have 3 instead of 2. Because you only ever need 2 of them, I believe. You know, one for your... You can't wear a Salve Amulet and a Black Mask and get the benefits of both of them, so you only ever have one of them on. And then you can only ever have 1 ring on. So I don't know, am I going to switch rings? Of like have a Berserker ring with a switch to the Seers ring or something like that? I don't imagine. I'm pretty sure Berserker just wins out everywhere. But yeah, I think I'll just do... I just want to have 3 of them, so that way I just have permanently the Berserker ring, a Black Mask, and a Salve. For the quality of life. Alright, let's see how much we got now. Hopefully this is the end and we can get back to Giant's Foundry. My guess is like 350. 300. We've done almost half our stack, so we might actually have enough to get what we need in one go. You know, you're gonna make most of your money back doing the Giant's Foundry itself. So yeah, I think I just formulated in my own head the reason to never go for a coal bag is I'll have a ton of adamant bars from doing the revs, a ton of mithril bars from doing grotesque guardians, doing dust devils, doing things of that nature. And so I would imagine that combined makes me unlikely to ever want to do blast furnace. So maybe our next account will go for a blast furnace build. So something else I realized about getting a zombie axe is it surprisingly might be decent at Toa for certain things. So the last phase of Toa, Warden's weakness goes from stab to crush. And so during the time when you get the most points, the time when you want a high DPS, crush is actually probably going to be my best in slot there. And so I might run some numbers, but I think it's probably going to be better than I'm going to bring an Arcan Blade for my first runs until I get a Rapier or a Partisan, the Black Jewel Partisan. But the Zombie Axe is, I think it's very likely to be, you know, it's a 5-tick, not a 4-tick weapon, but it might be strong enough to be very good at the knockdown phases. You know, if I don't have spec, I'm not gonna have a light bearer, that it might be pretty solid as the, you know, I do my DDS specs and then I switch to a zombie axe that has a DPS competitive with like a whip, right? So it should be better than a 4-tick weapon, I would imagine. But, you know, eventually I would get the Black Partisan, which also has a, you know, a crush option, so I wonder, that's probably going to be better for that. But when on that day, that's maybe a minute from now. You know, I think you get an XP lamp for doing that, doing your first Toa, so that's part of why I want to do it. It'd be nice to get a little range XP right now. I don't know if it goes into prayer. If you can go into prayer, I would probably do that instead of range. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Slow and steady she goes. I want to see if I can find what I just said. See how much XP it is, and if my memory is correct, that you can kind of get a lamp or something. So I don't know, let's go combat. Let me just type in lamp. Experience lamps, and then there's combat lamp from Contact, Tree Mentor, Final Dawn, Kingdom Divided. I could swear there is one. It might not even be a lamp. Let me just type in, what's the quest called? sand, cursed sand or something. Let me see if it's on here. First, beneath cursed sands, there we go. And then rewards. Am I making it up? I could have sworn I got an XP lamp for doing like your first TOA run. Alright, let's ask. Maybe it's a false memory. I could have sworn I read it when I was yeah, I know what I want to do, so let me just bring this over. Let's do the research. It's bugging me now. If I just type in like monkey madness 2, let's say. And then I was hoping that there would be like a quick thing to like hop to like let's just type in attack. And then we'll go skills, rewarding, attack XP. And then there's a skill choice, and then rewards. Into the tomb. I think that's what I'm maybe, what's this? I think this is what I'm referring to. Okay, we found it, I think. Into the tomb. I wasn't going crazy, huh? Yeah, complete a full raid of TOA. And you can go 0 if you really wanted to. And then you get rewards. I think it's at 50k. Excluding prayer, so yeah. So that's part of why I want to do some TOAs too, is I can get a free 50k XP lamp. And that would, you know, give me a good amount of range XP. Alright, we're able to figure it out. Okay. I think we'll do one more inventory, then we'll go Giant's Foundry. We'll see how close we can get to 70 smithing, and then that would give us the information on if we have to get more steel or not. Alright, let's go ahead and use our group teleport. And it's Giant's Foundry. Very nice. But yeah, I've been streaming for an hour and 15 minutes, so that was probably like a half hour of Shopscape. So I guess in the grand scheme it's pretty minor, but... I should probably look up a guide on what to buy here. We got 550 points. Wasn't there like something that, I guess it's just the outfit that makes it quicker? We're eventually gonna want a grog. Right? Okay, let's go ahead and put everything away. We'll want our ice gloves, probably in here. Yeah, let's just go search for them. Tab 7. So that's our outfit tab, I guess. A lot of nice outfits in here, huh? Okay, and then we need a hammer. And then we need to get rid of our staff. And then we go X to 7, 7, 7. Does space work? No, I have to type in 4 or click it, okay. I need to set the mold, okay. That's probably good advice. Yeah, I think the double ammo makes some sense. I might try to, I guess we'll see how much cannonballs I need. It's probably a good idea to get them. Has anyone ever done the math on like how much of a time save it is? What does 83 do for you? I was trying to think of what I need high smithing for. You know, crystal armor, I think you can boost to make, right? That was the only other thing I was thinking of. Okay, a Lumbridge Elite. Okay, so we'll have to cool down. Okay, let me reset my XP thing. You know, last time I did this, I started off pretty decent at our XP per hour, but I think as the time went on, I got worse and worse. Alright, you better not lose heat. I listened to the guide. Oof. Safe. But yeah, back to the Giant's Foundry, huh? It shouldn't be too bad. And get our Warp Scepter after this. Well, we're gonna, obviously unlock the zombie axes while we're here. And then kind of start working towards our requirements for the hard wilderness. And, I was pretty happy unlocking that Arcan Blade, but that zombie axe it's gonna be pretty nice to have. On my group Ironman, I never really cared for it, as we already had whips, we already had. I think we even went and got like noxious halberds and fangs and everything like that. So the zombie axe has always just been So yeah, now I get to finally celebrate the zombie axe and be impressed by it. That, I don't need to go for 85 Slayer, or go do Krill, or go do what are some other level 70 weapons? I think those are the two main ones I can think of. What is he saying? Hand in, there we go. I have to press shift and then it switches between commission and hand in. Alright, 59 smithing. You can now make mithril warhammers, very cool. I know one of the strategies is you can go here and then you depending on what he gives you, it's a good idea to switch to what he's like. So he's telling me to get a narrow heavy. And so I'm trying to make sense. So narrow and narrow heavy, flat, okay. And so then if you come in here and go to shop, you could look for something that does like narrow heavy. But that might be more brain power than I want to give this. And so like this is narrow light. The point. That's probably narrow, no. So yeah, I don't really want to. I think I just buy whatever and hope for the best. I'm just going to start unlocking the cheapest ones first and hope that it's good enough. Sure. There you go. Very good. And, maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. Okay, what I'm curious about is how do you get in... There's like a zombie helmet, right? 50 strength and defense, 70 smithing, armored zombies. Okay, let's not ruin our thing. Alright, we went a little over. Yeah, I don't think I care too much for the zombie helmet. It seems... Zombie helmet. Broken zombie helmet. 1 in 600. I guess we can go Death Cough for another zombie axe if we were to get it. Yep, no zombie helmet. Looks kind of cool. So it'd just be for the aesthetics that I'd really care for it. You know, maybe one day I get a Warhammer and then the combination of that. But I don't even know where you bring... Like, where would it be better than a Nesnot helmet? Yeah, I think we have a while till we're getting there. Alright, I'm gonna stop. Oh, it's not even... My heat's not even going up. That's weird. Alright, I'm gonna start paying attention to what I'm doing again. The zombie helmet is... You know, if I get a zombie task, maybe I go and have some fun and try to see if I can get another unique, but I think I'll probably just stick with the zombie cows. And then probably do the zombie zombie pirates too, right? Yeah, I think the main use that I can think of is a if you're trying to land Warhammer specs. And then if something obviously has very, very high defense. Like if you're using Crush, it's usually because the monster is weak to it. So there's like a very small amount of things that I think require both that have a high defense and they're weak to Crush. It's like such a small amount of things that if I was to go out of the way, it just... Or if I say it differently, most of the things that I might want to do, I'd be on Slayer task. So, you know, obviously the Slayer helm's gonna win. So shift, click. Very nice. Get another commission, yep. Ahoy. I need to put some like screen markers. I do like the design of this place. Like the blue and the... like the color palette, I guess you'd call it. Maybe room light settings help. I am a fan of like the Royal Titans for that same reason. Something about like the raw, like, you know, I think of like lava, I think of you know, like raw resources of like all the minerals. And then I look at this side and it's like a, you know, the processing of it, like a man-made wheel and oh. You know, so said differently, it's like there's something really like, I don't know if archaic is the right word, but something very primal. Primal's not the right word. Primordial? I think that's the word I'm looking for. What do I do? Dunk? You guys see how much attention I have for this. I'm trying to see if I can make it second nature without putting any thought to it. So I'm gonna let myself stumble a little bit and see if, you know, in 20 minutes, a half hour, if that makes sense. Does that mean you did a lot of blast furnace on your account? Okay, I had a feeling it was going to switch over in time. Is it weird that I don't care about the 8 mold? Like, or let me say it differently, I don't mind doing the AFK 4 mold of just going, clicking it. It's like, it's the same amount of clicks to me. So like in my head, I'm like, I don't really care. It's just, I'm gonna be doing like my video editing, and then if I was to make cannonballs, if it's an 8 mold or a 4 mold, my XP and the amount that I get per hour is probably not going to be that significantly different to me. That it's going to be kind of like my background thing. I think we're going on the wrong thing, huh? And so yeah, I'm kind of weird, so I'm doing a little experiment on myself right now. How little attention I can spend and see if it, I'll like intuitively start doing this with what's on the screen without having to be like, oh, I should do this now. And so yeah, I'm gonna see how much error I can make. You know, part of it is because, you know, I used to like work at a place with a lot of people that would listen to a lot of music and stuff. And they'd be like talking and doing all these things and like, you know, I don't know. They were decent at their job. I'm not trying to say they weren't. But yeah, it just felt like I was the only one that could use my full brain power often, but I couldn't go into the mode that they go into of this like. And so yeah, one of the things I want to do on this stream is see if I could let myself make mistakes and see if I can get into that like intuitive carefree mode, I suppose, and like get better at it, like see if it actually will improve. So it's a little like try to use as little brain power as possible on this and see what happens. I'm like almost going out of my way to not know what I'm doing. And so yeah, I don't know if that's wise or unwise, that ability. Which is why it's kind of like I like to have like these low-key experiments, I guess. You know, I've never been one to be able to like drive on autopilot. Of like, you know, people say, oh, I just kind of just saw that I was going home or whatever. Like, oh, I was driving to the bank and I ended up going to the grocery store. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about, I guess, of like, whatever that is, I don't possess that. And, you know, maybe that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure. But I guess it's to tone down the amount of, like, mental resources spent on things that, you know, could be better spent, I suppose. You know, sometimes you gotta heat up, sometimes you gotta cool down. You gotta find the right thing for the job, I suppose. And so then I put on that, Llewellyn Village from Breath of the Wild, and it's that. I think it kind of gives more into that, like island vibe vacation type. Continue with the grind, but, make sure it doesn't like grind my brain. But part of me like wonders if it should be more like I go to animals often. You'll have to. This is the way I think. Is I think of like an eagle or something. And I don't know anything about eagles, but what I imagine happens is you don't see their eyes darting. You don't see like it's like that bird eyes is like that camera or whatever that it scans the whole environment and then it like lasers in on things. So I wonder if that's probably better than trying not to pay attention, I suppose, and going into a brain dead. So who knows, I guess, on can I unconsciously just let some things just like, me not, looking into what the best ones to buy and just kind of willy-nilly doing it is probably better for me than going and getting like the perfect guide on it. It's like very little improvement. Like a random guess with all those ones is probably like within like 90% efficiency of if I was to get like the perfect order on what to buy there. And I think it all goes back to like my first job of like, I used to have like all my emails always read. I used to have like everything finished. Like I had fixed problems before, like I just was caught up in, but then I got that job and, eventually I kind of rose to the top and had to kind of figure out priorities. And at that point, there was not enough time to do everything, And so I don't know if that kind of just ruined my psychology for life of like, figuring out, only doing 30% of this and then doing 20% of that instead of doing 100% here, 100% here. You're not going to make it each spot perfect. You kind of have to make sure you give everything a good amount of attention. Otherwise, like, this one spot is beautiful, but your entire store is now wrecked from thousands of people coming in and destroying everything. Or you made the perfect order of like, I'm gonna get exactly 20 flats of this and 8 flats of that, or like I'm not even gonna look at my inventory and say, we probably need about 6 or whatever, and whatever. As long as I got my you know, we didn't run out of, it's not a grocery store, but just for comparison, there's milk, there's meat, there's eggs, but hey, we ran out of Snicker bars or something, or I don't know if that's the best comparison. Like, so you learn, like, I don't need every single color, of, like, everything doesn't have to be perfect, you know, in the store. That I only had so much time. I had to make sure that people, like, you know, watered things correctly. I had to make sure all these different things that were in the store at one time. And so, yeah, I could focus on getting the perfect order. I could be hovering over the water, making sure he waters everything perfect, you know, make sure that there's shopping carts, you know, all these different things that were just constantly being read in. And so then that, I think, just changed me to never, like, whatever. I have a million emails I haven't read. I really don't care. You know, I used to, like, my emails used to, like, I would go through every single one. And if it was a spam mail, I would then do the required steps to get it off of get off the list of whatever that was. And, you know, things like that, I suppose. And so, yeah, that experience kind of, and, you know, I'm still not sure if that's was better for me or not. Of, you know, I kind of stopped doing a lot of cleaning and stuff and stopped organizing as much. But I do feel like it kind of gave me a grand picture view of things that just naturally comes of, like, knowing what the priority is, just like on an instinctual basis. It's hard to explain, of, like, I would just sense that, you know, we're probably going to be running out of, like, the amount of volume that was in the store, the people, and, like, just with very little insight, I could, like, intuitively know I need someone to go get shopping carts. I need someone to go, and I need to make sure it's a windy day. Let me go and check the back edge because they're probably not going to water it correctly. Just, you know, a million things, right? Of, like, oh wow, we had a lot of people come. Are we going to run out of those baskets? And so on and so forth, right? And so, yeah, worrying about, like, the perfect order to buy molds, it doesn't give me any, it doesn't feel rewarding enough to, like, to care about, I suppose. And so, yeah, when I'm not focused on making sure this is perfect, I can just go into, like, a rant, right? My brain can start working towards things that are, you know, so I guess, you know, valuing, like, time and mental, you know, processing and such. I feel like in my life in general, I didn't value that as highly as it was worth, I suppose. And yeah, it seems like I'm intuitively kind of just letting this happen in it. It's not necessarily like being brain dead. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's a I don't know if study's not the right word, but they have like chimpanzees, right? And they play this game, and if they win the game or something, they get rewarded with like a banana or whatever. And it's like this memory game of like on the screen, these numbers appear very, very quickly. They'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 really, really quick. And this chimpanzee is able to go like click it in like a far superior than I think any human is capable of doing. This is just like probably, I don't think this chimpanzee's that special. It's probably just, you know, whatever. But it's like this pre-verbal ability that, you know, if you verbalize, you know, you kind of, that brain power goes to something very specific. It doesn't, you know. And so, not to insult, you know, these people that I worked with, but they had like the ability to memorize these numbers of like these 6 to 8 digit numbers and like these little details that, you know. And so what I'm trying to say is like, you know, using too much frontal cortex uses a lot of resources, and those resources could be spent on memorizing 6 to 8 digit codes. Oh, are we doing the right thing? Yeah. Alright, how's our XP per hour looking? So it says 80k, but let's see when we turn this one in. If we're getting about 100k like I suspected. We did make a lot of mistakes though. Alright, yeah, 91k. So yeah, I think if I fully grind it out, 100k is pretty reasonable expectation, and that would be like 10%, you know, more efficient or whatever. So I guess I'm trying to turn this into what I think of as, you know, if I go and do an agility course, right? It's not that complicated. You just kind of click the next green thing and kind of just goes, right? And so I want to see if I can turn this game into that, where it's just like an obvious just click and whatnot, because I really don't think I live in my frontal cortex too much. And so yeah, I guess I've realized often is that there's like an unfounded level of urgency thing to things for me. And it might sound weird because I also think I'm often like the most relaxed person sometimes. So it's this weird effect, I suppose. Because I feel like I could go and become a monk. Like, it wouldn't be difficult for me to do that. Like, go and like meditate and become a Zen Buddhist or something like it. But you know, maybe that's one of my you know, it's something I kind of learned, I suppose, is I kind of went away from, you know, like I guess in my formative, you know, like my teenage into my early 20s, I kind of was trying to find these different paths and trying to, you know, how to conduct myself. And so I kind of tried some Eastern meditative stuff, and I think a lot of them are good, but I guess I kind of disagree with a lot of it. And you know, one of the things I heavily disagree with is, you know, detaching. Is that I actually did go down that route, and okay, they say detachment is how you unlock everything and or whatever. It's going to take me somewhere, and we'll see where that transcends me or whatever. But then I kind of realized that, you know, this thing that people call enlightenment or whatever, it seems to just be that person's worry-free life is essentially what I arrived at. Because I felt like I got there. And I guess I just noticed that it didn't really like, you know, for a while it worked or whatever. With like, I embodied it for like, probably like over a year, I feel. But it was just the realization that it's just, yeah, if you just don't care about anything, it works. Big deal, huh? And so I've come to realize, I guess, is I have this saying or whatever, I heard it, I don't even remember what the origin of it was, but essentially if you're thirsty, water's like the most important thing in the world. And you know, if you're hungry, then it's food. If it's, you know, if you can't breathe, then air, so on and so forth. And so if your mind is very occupied, which if you look at the civilizations that went the Zen Buddhist type route or whatever, they're the people that have the most social anxiety, the most social pressure, you know. So it's kind of like a remedy to social pressure than it is to like enlightenment, is what I'm trying to argue. And I think intuitively kind of started seeing that. And so then I kind of disagreed with it. That, you know, I don't want to detach from life, I want to attach to life. You know, and that's find meaning, you know, the opposite. And so, yeah, the way I see it, I guess, is I still value the tool set that it kind of, that I feel like it kind of gave me. So, okay, let me say it differently. As a kid, I remember not like thinking that much. Like, I would be around people and they'd say, "What are you thinking about?" And I'm not thinking about anything. What do you mean? Like, why do I have to think about something? And they like would make me feel weird. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be thinking. I don't know. And that's that pre-verbal. Like, I had like a certain, like, certain abilities I had were better then. Like I used to like go to like school and like take a class and not have to study, and I would just remember what the teacher would like write on the board without actually like, it wasn't like a picture of it. It was just a feeling of like, I kind of remember them talking about this and this is the answer. It was just like this intuitive knowing without actually like having like language in my head go on. It was just kind of like, oh, I remember that moment and this is the answer. And so then, yeah, I feel like I remember, you know, more verbal stuff going into my head, and it like, I associate it with the time that I was like most depressed in life. And it was at college, and it was like this, I started performing less of like ability on like tests and such. And so, yeah. And not being able just to go into the class and walk away. And so there was, what I'm trying to say is that there was a cost of, you know, going more into that. I had a certain like, I just remember having a confidence when I was in high school that I didn't really know how to explain, of like, of just like saying, oh, I'm going to ace this test. I don't have to study for it. I just know the answers. I'll figure it out. And there was no planning. There was no needing to memorize things. There was no... And what I'm trying to get to is I think that's part of that, like, that chimpanzee thing, right? Of just knowing without knowing. You just kind of click the next thing. That's just the answer. 2 + 2 is 4. There's not a, you know... And so, yeah, now I'm, you know, doing this, and I decided to reduce the urgency. So I think that's what I'm trying to get to, is like that confidence was a lack of urgency, of like, I just know it's going to work. And so, yeah, I guess I never let myself get lost when I drive. And so I never go into that autopilot mode. And so it's kind of the same with this, of like, I'm now doing swords in this. It's not some major accomplishment, but, you know, if I didn't reduce the urgency, I would still be concentrated on that. And I wouldn't be getting that much more XP, and the amount of XP I did lose was probably minor, you know. And so I feel like the same thing with a lot of the bosses in this game, is I never want to do Zulrah. I've literally gotten like 4 or 5 kills max in life, and it's just because I don't want to learn how to do it some reason. It's just, it feels like I have to like cheese the game and like memorize these little spots, and you know, I guess I prefer being more intuitive. But like, I'm also like, there's like an urgency or something that I'm putting on it, of like wishing I can just sit down and memorize these stupid spots and do a plugin and whatever else. But it's like, I don't know. I kind of want to do it like I did this. But I've done that a couple times and it doesn't go well. So then like, I get this urgency of not wanting to fail, I guess. So this is my stepping stone. These little steps of something that's, you know, not as punishing. And, you know, and so this is failing out loud, and so it's, you know, I'm bringing attention to failures, but that's also a way of increasing urgency towards it, right? But, you know, maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe, you know, speaking it into existence and realizing that I can relax with it is part of what's going to take the urgency out of things that are not required anymore. And so I guess we'll get there on that day. But I feel like that's the mentality that I lost, in my transitional, like somewhere between becoming a kid and becoming an adult, right? That teenage to 20-year-old area of having to figure things out. Yeah, of course you're gonna, figure out your adult identity, and you're not gonna really know between like being a kid and being an adult, like all the right answers are and whatever else. And yeah, there's gonna be more urgency. There's gonna be more unknowing, and when there's less knowing, there's more anxiety and more urgency, right? And so yeah, I guess I'm letting go of that identity I used to have, or I don't know how to phrase that, of, when I was figuring that out, I was comparing myself to like my uncle and people that raised me and such, of like, they did it this way, I'm not going to do it that way. And, so that was kind of like my formative identity of who I am, I guess. And well, now that I have the experience of living that, I can slowly, I guess, figure out, what I want to make urgent and what I don't want to make urgent. And so I feel like the Eastern philosophy was saying nothing is urgent, and it's all an illusion and detached from life. And I don't feel like that's the correct path. And I think it's to enjoy life, and I think the right way of framing it is to experience life. And we have these different feelings and such that I get are all there for a pretty good reason. And so it's not to like abandon any one of them. So what I'm trying to say is enlightenment is a very this like detachment, this worry-free thing is kind of like just a way for people to get out of like responsibility and caring about their cause and effects. It's like a justification for thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. It like, I can make an argument, I guess, that it's good to let go of tomorrow, but it's not to completely, right? There's like a balance, I guess. And so I guess that's kind of what I'm arriving at is, yeah, it's good to, you can look at any study that's on like delayed gratification, right? Is that our brains are pretty good at predicting the future. Within, certain possibilities, I guess, of the future. And so, yeah, I'll have a worry, I'll have a doubt, and then I basically address it, right? That's kind of my new take on it of, yeah, we're not becoming a Buddhist that is just going to always live in this constant bliss. We're going to let my worries and stuff come in, and I'm going to worry about, oh, should I get this mold or that mold? And then realize, oh, that's not important. Let me take the urgency out of it. Let me just enjoy the stream. And, that's going to have a better result for me. And then, guess what? Oh, I make the wrong mistake, or like I make a mistake here or there. then that gives me, more of that intuitive information to make better guesses on the next time, right? And so yeah, I do like making like Excel sheets and things of that nature. I really enjoy doing that type of stuff. But I don't know. That's my own type of fun. It's okay, let me try to say that differently. Is I can try to put everything in grids and such, but it's usually a simplification of stuff. That there's usually a good amount of rounding and guessing, and to say you've mapped every single factor. You can try to like get a lot of them and kind of give yourself a good educated guess, but then you actually have to like live it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe like a decade ago, maybe less than that. There's a game I play called Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and I took all of the monsters, the creatures in that game, and I put them into this Excel sheet, and I tried to boil them down to like one statistic. I think this might go. There you go. Tried to boil it down into one statistic, and yeah, it was very close to the value that each thing gave. But there were definitely some errors and stuff that I looked into it, and the amount of work that I poured into that one document was like off the charts. If I just played the game more, I would know. It's not to say that that didn't give me any value, because it certainly did like let me like say, okay, this monster has very low health, but they actually are really, really cheap. And so then I kind of started understanding. So there was definitely a lot of value, is what I'm trying to say. Of like, it's not like I give up on that. It's that I'm never going to make the perfect sheet, but it could be a good tool to help me make good guesses in real time at a different time. Of like, if I understand what's in this sheet, I would know that, buying like one of the monster's stone golems is going to give me one of the best health per gold, right? If I have to defend a castle with just as much health as possible. Like, I would know that. And so like, oh, this one is actually surprisingly, I thought it was a good one for that, but it's actually not that good. And so now I kind of, because I went through that process of doing that, it gave me all that information that then later I could use. And so it's not that it had no purpose, it's just that it's never going to give you that perfect answer of like, every answer is not going to be given. No matter how much no matter what information you put into an Excel sheet, it's not going to give you everything. It's just going to help you make some good guesses. And like, yeah, I can go and make an Excel sheet on a lot of stuff in RuneScape, right? And oh, you're gonna make this much money per hour, but in practice, I'm gonna go and relax. I'm gonna take more time on. I feel like I'm probably. What am I doing? Yellow? Where are we at? We're in green. It's going cool. But yeah, it's going to take me 3.5 hours to do this, but it's going to take me 4 hours to do that. But if I do the 3.5 hour method, I'm going to end up spending more time at the bank and not wanting to play the game, I think we started with what, like trying to remember what our starting XP was. I think we were like 55 or 56. Maybe not though. I think maybe it's in here. Let's see. Yeah, we're 58. Okay. So yeah, we've gotten almost 3 levels. And so yeah, I guess I like to connect things and be funny about it, I suppose. And you know, I can think of this whole thing as my brain, these wheels turning, right? You know, and letting me heat up. So there's like the primordial side, right? This deeper knowing, this deeper understanding, this resource that you can tap into that just knows and is the minerals to what in the end, like not the engine, but like the heat, right? The fuel, and then you got the wheels spinning over here, right? And so yeah, it's just me trying to put everything in its proper space and kind of rewire myself to what's best. And you know, what's best is maybe not even what's better, maybe. Or what could even be better. And yeah, so when I go into this mode more, my time at banks like go like 10 times quicker. Because yeah, if I'm very much in that prefrontal cortex sometimes. And I'll just be sitting at the bank, hemming and hawing about things that are not, you know, too important sometimes. Decision fatigue or whatever you want to, I don't know if that's the right word, but having more options, having more understanding, and having more to process isn't always get the better result. Sometimes you just want the banana and you're just going to click the numbers as quick as possible to get it, you know? And I don't... And I think I'm arguing is that, you know, social pressure is, you know, we live in a civilization with people and there's certain expectations that everyone has to kind of meet. And I can argue why that's a good thing, but it also is going to overcorrect for certain behaviors that I'm slowly and surely have kind of let go in life. And so I guess you could say I've needed a lot of proof in life, I guess, to trust my instinct. Is that usually when I trust the instinct, it ends up going well, but I've also watched other people watch their instinct and it didn't, so. And so I guess that's why I try to put truth as like the number one value. Is that I've seen a lot of people's instinct end up becoming like, self-satisfying beliefs, I guess. And I've seen like, the consequences of that pretty harshly, I guess. Of watching people build these stories for themselves and watch it destroy lives. And so yeah, I guess that's, part of why I'm so focused on truth is I've spent a lot of years being lied to, And they were not even, I don't even know if the person lying like was aware that they're lying. Like if they're just saying what they have to believe. And so that's what I mean by like I've seen people that are very intuitive use that to make themselves feel good rather than see what's true, I suppose. And so yeah, that's probably one of the foundational reasons to why I look for meaning and I look for truth, I guess. It's the way I will phrase it, and I'm curious about different things and understand the importance of questioning assumptions and so yeah, I don't know. I guess I've learned to just calmly look at cause and effect is the way I would to phrase my current being, I suppose. I don't know what the right word is. I just had gotten back from in October or so, or August, end of August, early September, I'd moved back to my home state from working with my uncle or whatever, and so I guess I had seen the negative consequences of too much urgency and working with him, I suppose, more. Everything was urgent, but none of it was important. And I just I'd just look at him and I'd feel bad for him of like, the guy can't relax. He has to be doing something in his hands. He has to, he can't let his mind process. Has to be stimulated, and I saw the effects of like what it did to him and his like the work relationship he had with it too. Because he could never like take a step back and ask like, you know, the proper questions. He had to have like this constant distraction going and work, like, so he just had his superpower of working with urgency. Like that's what when he's at his best, is being able to solve things and you know, so I kind of, you know, as I said before, I worked with that flower place and having to kind of figure out things on the fly always, and so I'm no stranger of working with a ton of urgency. And so that's kind of where I came up with the courageous comfort, was you go and do the urgent thing, you go and, you know, take care of the business, but you got to have that comfort after. Like, what is the whole point of it? You know, and so for him, his, you know, it was like an ego thing. Like he had to be seen as being important, being seen as, you know, the man or whatever. And it, you know, I was like, you're 70 or however old he was. I don't know. I think he's 70s or maybe close to 70. And it's like, what do you have to prove? You've done so much. Why do you have to be seen this way still? It's just kind of, I just know that's not the route, I guess. And so yeah, that's why I came to, it took me a minute to come up with courageous comfort. Like it came when I was driving one day. Like I was trying to come up with like channel names and such, and I think I don't remember what the first name was. You know, it didn't take me that long actually. I think it was like within 2 or so days of thinking about it, like, okay, so what can the channel name be? And so but it just came and I was like, oh, CC, courageous comfort. It kind of had like that alliteration. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's kind of like I feel like that's my operating system. It's all kind of like, I wouldn't say, as the way I'm going to describe it sounds more like reluctance, but it's not reluctance, but it's just like all right, let's do it. Kind of like, okay, let's not avoid it. Okay, let's not, like, something happens and it's like, oh, poor me having to do this. And it's just like, I just take a breath and I just do it. Like, it's not let that sigh of relief go and take care of business, I guess. And so it's not a reluctance to do something, but it's kind of like I know the cost of doing it and not doing it. It's going to be better to do it. And you know, and so I was having tough conversations with that uncle. Of like, I could have just submitted to his idiocracy, and I'd probably have a nice stable job and live in paradise and have fun with the ladies out there, but it didn't, that's just not it was a false paradise. I mean, that's what it was. It just, I don't even want to get started with the fake aloha spirit, but Yeah, I don't remember how I came up with failing out loud, but it just kind of came quickly, I think. Like that's all I'm doing is failing out loud. I mean, that's kind of like the dare I gave myself, right? Like I feel like I don't like the spotlight, I don't like attention. And so it's just like it's kind of just one of those just do it moments, I suppose. It's just kind of like what do you have to lose by doing it? Like, okay, you just moved back. I don't want to rush into something. I have money saved up that uh, there's no urgency, I guess. Yeah, I thought of like becoming an Uber Eats driver just to make a little bit of money and kind of coast in life for a little bit. And just learn how to, like, I really like the idea of just like relaxing on drives and just kind of like unurgently like delivering food. And, you know, I don't know. I thought of going and becoming like a plumber or an electrician and maybe going back to school or something, or maybe just going and getting my software job that I had before, but you know, when else am I gonna in life have no commitments, and how do I do something for myself, I suppose, you know? You know, I kind of had this certain, you know, so I've done a few, I've had 3 main employments in my life, and each one of them I ended up essentially running everything. Like even at the place that I worked at with my uncle, he did defer to me like almost always. I mean, basically always, but because he knew I was right. So it's not like I just casually would explain, okay, so if we do it this way, this is what's gonna happen, and I'd walk him through the logic, and he didn't have any, like there was not like yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. It's just the way it always came out, I guess. And it wasn't like, you know, I'm very good at following too, so it's not if someone says an idea, I didn't care who it came from. Like it could come from the lowest. The new person has an idea and like, oh wow, that's actually brilliant. Well, if we did it this way, you know, okay, it would work because of that, but it doesn't work for this. You didn't think of that. And so, you know, there was I'm good with dialogue with people of figuring out paths and such, and so that's actually how, you know, I got all the information on how we should do things. Is I talked to everyone and absorbed everyone's ideas and kind of played with them, and, you know, said, oh, did you think about this? And they'd say, no, I didn't. And then the next day they might say, yeah, I thought about it more. And so yeah, you just kind of in that process learn what everyone knows. And so, you know, I'm talking to all the people that are actually doing the job, and so then I'm getting a deep and very, very deep understanding of everything. And my uncle's like detached, and, you know, it doesn't have his hands in the sand, you know. So there's like it's not an ego thing, it's just a matter of like, you know, learning to, you know, trust the eyes, I guess, of like, you can't be everywhere and anywhere. You kind of just ask questions and you get answers. I just had some memories come back. This trying to figure out because it was like a controlled environment, and we had like the pressure in the room and like the AC and the humidity and all this stuff, and it was just I wouldn't say I'm getting angry, but it's like it's remembering like just the stupidity of the whole thing, and it, yeah. Just like seeing like, did you guys even think this through? Like I had literally asked that like so many times. So like I spend 30 seconds thinking about it, and then I go and tell them what the issue is, and it's just like I just want to bang my head against the wall. Like, you guys have been doing this for 3 years, and it's like, oh, it must be complicated. But yeah, so I just can't work for someone right now. I can't put up with it. I don't know how to explain it. Like, just the level of like, oh, so I was trying to say is I worked for 3 different people, and each time I kind of, had gotten to the point where there was like a full level of trust. There was a full level of like, um, this realization that I'm just trying to do the best, and I don't know how to explain it, but I'm a very systems-based thinker, so I see like the efficiency and the order of things, and and so what I'm trying to get to is essentially, I always thought, this is my thought coming from when I was like 17 and at my first job, of like, I don't want to become an entrepreneur. I don't want to like I think there's enough places that could use help. You would figure they would pay for a good second person. So I always thought, okay, that sounds better. Then I don't have to like start a business and invest hundreds of hours of like this anxiety and this whole like making it work and all this energy into it. But I came to realize like that, they'll never. I'll never get my worth out of it, you know. I had thought with family maybe it would be different, but it turned into like an ego thing, and I don't know. Maybe I have too much of an ego too, but it felt like more like a level of control or whatever it was. I always just wanted to do like the best. Like it wasn't because they eventually put me as manager, and I went with anyone's idea. So it was just like it didn't matter whose idea it was. It didn't matter. It's just like let's just do it. Let's kick butt. Let's everyone enjoy life and. And I've done that 3 times, and But what I'm trying to get to is essentially, I feel like when I work for someone else right now, no matter what, they're trying to get as much value out of me is what I feel. And I think I provide more than enough value, but it never really felt, fully, appreciated or whatever. And so that's kind of why I think I'm good not working for someone right now. That, I kind of want to invest into myself, I suppose, more. It's funny because the dynamic has always been, like the old owner and then like a new owner, like the guy who started the business and then the second person. And so and with my family, there was that dynamic, and with the flower shop, there was that dynamic. And both the middlemen I got really along with, I guess. And they were just happy to have my help, I think, and wanted to help me and take, like, so there was like a two-way road of like they would take my advice, I would take their advice, and it'd be reasonable with each other. And so, yeah, I talked about the foundations and the foundry of my brain, and I guess now I'm talking about the foundry of my current life. We're smithing something up today. I'm gonna have to make a thumbnail today, oh boy. So I'm debating how to do my thumbnails now, because it takes me too much time and they're not even effective at being thumbnails. Like, I'm treating them like a painting, but I feel like I'm the only one that like will understand my own thumbnails. So what I'm trying to say is that, maybe if I spent 20 minutes doing it instead of like days doing it, like I'll just get a headache doing it, like trying to come up with like the idea for it, and then trying to like capture an image, and then trying to get it all to fit on the screen. And like, I think it would just be better if I spent just 20 minutes on it. Just said, okay, we're doing a Giant Foundry episode, let's say. Let's just take a picture of the Giant's Foundry. Let's just slap a picture of my face, slap a picture of my RuneScape character, and call it a day. And that would just communicate, oh, it's an episode and they're at this place. I liked his videos, I'm gonna click on it again. But instead I like try to like do certain like imagery or whatever, and it to tell a story in the pictures, like maybe it's not what the thumbnail's designed for, I don't know. Maybe I was thinking I'd get better at doing them, and maybe I still can. So we'll see how I kind of process it, but it feels like it's it's my least favorite part of the whole thing, I think. Like, I'd rather write, I think, and kind of look at, like, make connections to things, and that's when I'm in my element. And so yeah, having to like stage this like this picture or whatever that I have to make, it can kind of like I don't know. Like the amount of headaches I get just from thinking about having to do it is now increasing too much to the point where it's like, maybe I need to kind of, as I said before, that prefrontal cortex ability, kind of turn it off and just do something silly that works and just be done with it. And that it's not worth the mental pain. But, you know, that's kind of, you know, I do that with my writing, but it's always rewarding. Of like, you know, not knowing where the book's going and like having like a certain level of like doubt of like, maybe I'm just getting lucky and it just sometimes works. And so then I'll, you know, kind of like write something and then like feel like proud of it for like 2 hours, maybe even less than that. And then it's like back to the drawing board, but it's, I don't know how to explain it better. It's not the exact picture that I'm trying to describe. It's more that like there's like a level of doubt that comes each time of like, I finish an episode and I'm like, oh wow, that ended up, like, how did I come up with that connection? And it's just like, it feels like the next day it's like I think I can't do it again over and over. It's like, and then I'll come up with like excuses to why it worked and how the situation's different of like, oh, writing the starting chapters, you know, I didn't have anything else to, you know, force the story with of like, I could come up with anything. So that's why it worked. But time and time again, it's actually, you know, as I said before, I need a lot of proof into what I do sometimes to have like that confidence with it. You know, I was the youngest of, you know, 7 growing up. And yeah, I was made to feel like, you know, not smart, small, weak. Like you go down the list of these things, and so like it took me a long time in life to kind of like almost to 99, yep. Or what am I doing again? Yeah, I've needed like almost levels of like undeniable proof to think that I like wasn't weak, that I wasn't dumb, that I wasn't attractive. Like you go down the list of all the things, so that there was like a level of like, you know, everyone said I wasn't smart, so it's like, oh, I guess I'm not smart. Like, I don't have any proof otherwise. They're kind of right. Like, I kind of am a little slow, I speak weird, or whatever, right? And it's like a 4-year-old is processing that. Like, it doesn't... Like, that just became the reality, right? And so it wasn't until, like, the 7th grade when they... like, I didn't get straight A's, but like I didn't do particularly good or bad. Like I just got B's or something, I don't know. I didn't ever think like, oh, I was a smart person. I never thought that. Like that didn't even like entertain my head. But then they, you know, in 7th grade, they invited me to, you know, for the 8th grade year, they invited like 5 or 10 of us to, you know, do math class at the high school or whatever. And then, oh, well, that like surprised me, right? Of like, I'm not even smart. I don't know why they picked me. Like, that is weird. And then I go into the math class and, oh, everyone's coming to me for the answers. That's weird. So it just kind of kept going like that. And like the same thing happened with writing of like, I wasn't good at writing and then, or I wasn't good at, you know, like any skill that I might possess. Like it feels like each time, like I thought I was the weak one. And then, oh, how come I'm lifting the most now? Like it just like these times of just, like it takes that level. Like even if it was just like an average amount, I would think that I'm like weak or something. Like when I look at, so just being like the small guy, even to this point, I look at other people that I'm like bigger than and then think, oh, they're bigger than me. So it's just like this natural thing that was like set into this 4-year-old, right? And so I've needed like undeniable levels of proof that I, you know, not the opposite of or whatever, right? Like I'm almost like 6 feet tall and I'll look at people that are like 5'8", 5'9", and like, unless I get really close to them and like, oh wow, I didn't realize how small you were. Like I'll think that they're bigger than me. Like it's that's just like my natural tendency, like of when I'm estimating myself. And so, you know, when I'm writing the book, it kind of, each time that I still have that doubt, I guess, and it's just like my natural flow. So yeah, we're not almost to 99, but you know, we're getting there, right? We're at, what, 63? Eventually we'll get to 71. Today we just want, I guess, 70, and you know, realistically we could stop at like 66 if we really wanted to. But I'll probably be tempted to do that later. You know, 66 comes, or is it 66? Is that when you can, it's a 4 boost probably? To get the Korvac Grok or whatever. They're pretty cheap, so I'm kind of like wondering, is it weird that I'm kind of attracted to getting the smithing catalyst? My AFK desires to turn my coal and mithril ore and steel ore into bars without having to do Giant's Foundry. I feel like I have like infinite coal though, so is it, but I think you get double XP maybe? I don't know. And so yeah, I guess I'm just trying to, I want to overwrite the nervous system that was like put into me, I guess, of like this, you know, this kid that underestimates himself, this kid that puts all this like urgency into things. Well, he had to do that to like survive, you know, and to protect himself. And well, now I've lived enough life to like see that it's all not correct, but it's like mentally I'm past most of it, but there's still like a nervous reaction that's gonna occur, right? That's how I'm wired. It's like these circuits in you are not like just a mental thing, it's a physical thing, right? These things fire for these different situations and such. You know, you can claim to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be perfectly calm if a lion comes or a bear comes or something, but your instincts are just gonna kick in. And so that's what I'm trying to say, is that I have a certain level of instincts that have worked and have gotten me this far and have a lot of memory of working. So there's like there's no guarantee that like, oh, I'm just gonna do this now, and then it's just like, oh, we're doing that. Like it's like like you can say as much as you want, like, oh, there's no need to be nervous going on stage, right? Like just, but then you go on stage and you know, it doesn't really matter what was in your mind beforehand, I think. That's what I'm kind of trying to make of, like, I kind of need to, you know, give myself that undeniable information, I suppose, to overwrite those false narratives, or whatever word I want to use. I mean, yeah, this has become agility to me, I think. You know, I'm not doing it perfectly by any means, but I don't do agility perfect either, so. But yeah, there seems to be, you can get into a groove, and, you know, so. This is kind of like that first step on the account. Not first step, but you know what I mean? Like there's a, you know, how do I get myself into autopilot at other places? Because I don't, you know, allow myself to go into autopilot. You know, like these little mistakes that I make here. But I don't know if I want the exact same level of urgency, but it feels like it might be decent to have. You know, I make a mistake at a boss, and to be as relaxed as I am now when I make a mistake on this, I feel like that would be, I don't know, we'll see what that lands to, if I'm able to, you know, change that nervous system to match that, I suppose. Because yeah, I hate dying and losing, and feel like I could have done better or something, right? But you know, that's just like this extra level of urgency put onto it, of, you know, I think, you know, like, so in basketball, I'm terrible at shooting. And I think it's because of the level of urgency I put on trying to make it. That if I just shot the ball more and there was no self-doubt and you just kind of let that monkey chimpanzee take over. Oops. You know, each turnover, each shot, each dribble, like I put more urgency in it. And I didn't used to do that. You know, I injured myself right before high school. I broke my knee, basically my femur. There was a small fracture in it. Someone put their helmet right into my knee playing football. But I used to be like the point guard in 6th and 7th grade. And then I didn't play in high school. And then I like... what do I do? This one? But yeah, I lost all of my ability on the court, basically, is what I'm trying to get to. And so I'm really good at defense and anticipating. And I feel like that's kind of like the opposite skill sometimes. Just because I make it so urgent, I see what's going to happen before it happens. And so I think, you know, I feel like I permanently have that skill now. It's hard to explain. So, okay, let me say it differently. So in social situations, that urgency that I put on myself has allowed me to like understand what people are thinking and doing and such to an ability that doesn't even make sense in my head. But I've learned to reduce the urgency in it. And so without even trying, I see everything now. And so I'm trying to claim is that oh shoot, is now that I got the rewards of treating something with like that high level of urgency. And then if I relax with it, I don't fully lose that ability. It's kind of like, think of like a blacksmith. I saw smithing come up, so blacksmith came into my head. A black belt, right? It's like you just kind of know the motions, right? You have all that practice behind you, so it just naturally will come. Well, let me say it differently. I was talking about like that spreadsheet, right? And like putting urgency and knowing all these different things in the game. And then when I go and play, I now have that foundation of all that information. And sure, I don't have it all memorized, but I have a bigger or better gist of what was in that, right? And so yeah, summertime comes around, better watch out. You can find me on a basketball court. I have I'm in an apartment complex, and then there's like a little bit of distance, but then like the next thing over is like this school that I don't think is an actual school. It's hard to, I don't know what it is. I've never seen kids. I think it's like an administration building of like for the public schools. I think they all kind of maybe meet there. I don't know how it all works, but it feels like it's some type of admin thing. I don't know. But there's a basketball court there, long story short. And so yeah, so in August, I came back at the end of August, early September. And so I went out for like a month or two and just went and shot hoops, I guess. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna do that when spring comes around again. And so yeah, I almost played basketball last week, but they weren't able to get the gym. It was booked or something. And so yeah, I'm gonna see if I can become Steve Nash again. Well, Magic Johnson, I suppose. I think that's probably the... maybe not the closest, but... I'm essentially like a Draymond Green, if anyone knows their basketball. It's like I'm not the tallest, but it's like it's gonna be hard for you to move me. I can't shoot, I don't have that much skill, but I have a good sense of who to throw the ball to and like how to set screens and like facilitate the offense without the ball in my hand. And I'll sometimes make these like passes out of nowhere that like I'll just read the court in a certain way. But I get to like this, when I have the ball, I have all this urgency on me, and I'm going to see if I can get rid of that. So that's my spring, summer, to see if I can put less urgency on shooting and just like relax it. But yeah, in a very little bit of time, I started working like, it felt like it was like a week or two. My ability to dribble just like way changed, just going out and dribbling for a little bit. And so yeah, you know, so I guess the time spent going to Hawaii was not completely wasted. I was able to see my uncle's example and see the level of urgency he has. And, you know, maybe I'm not as extreme as him, but I had my own high level of it. And, you know, I could see a path where I became him, I feel. Like I've always seen that, I guess. And I've had to slow myself down often of like making sure that I'm not, you know, how's that phrase go of like seeing a mountain for an anthill or something, anthill for a mountain or whatever, right? Is that I might put an overimportance on some things sometimes and worry about this detail or that, and these things that are not that important, the way I make a thumbnail, not wanting to make a mistake on the basketball court. So it's this, you know, there's a saying I really like, and that's like, you know, if you go skiing, if you don't want to hit a tree, like you shouldn't be paying attention to the tree. You need to actually look at the path that you're taking between the woods. So it's like if you put all the emphasis on hitting the tree, well, that's what you're gonna be looking at trees instead of looking at where you're going, I guess, more. And so I had heard that, and then the next time I went skiing, my ability to traverse moguls, I think they're called, I'm bad with pronouncing things, like skyrocketed with like my ability to actually like, like I was trying to avoid not like going down a bumpy path, and instead I was able to, you know, I don't know if I would say I enjoyed them, but to a certain extent I enjoyed some. Like it kind of felt rewarding. And so yeah, I guess that's what it is. It's like this, an urgency to avoid a negative. I don't want that to rule me. I want the positive of trying to make it good, you know. I want my banana, okay? I'm just a little monkey trying to click these spots in the correct order. And so yeah, I guess I don't know how weird I want to get. I don't even know where I'm going to go with what I'm going to say, but I do really good with like beaten dogs, like dogs that are really skittish. But then that also translates to, you know, humans that are a little skittish too. And I think it's because, you know, I processed a lot of what I said today, right? Is that I was like the little kid that, you know, I was the beaten dog, basically. And so, yeah, it's like that. They're just trying to avoid that negative, right? But, you know, I keep going back to it is it's not an all or nothing though. And it's like, yeah, I shouldn't want to hit a tree, like, you know. But that, you know, points at trying to find the better solution. So I think that's the, you know, sometimes, you know, we humans and myself included, and so I just want to make sure like my words go out correctly of like, you know, don't take it to the opposite extreme. You know, that's what I did with my, as I was saying earlier, of like this foundation of who I am, you know, in my teenage and my 20 years, or my 20-year-old, my young 20s, the image was not to be certain people. And so now I'm kind of correcting from that, right? I was like, yeah, well, that wasn't the goal, right? The goal should be focused on on what you want to do, rather than what you don't want to do, right? That's what I'm kind of saying of like, I don't want to hit in trees, so I'm looking at the bad example and trying not to be that, as opposed to figuring out what the good path is, right? I wish I made note of how much money I started with. It was probably close to 400K. You know, I spent like 600K getting all the things. But yeah, already up to 600K. So I wonder if it's profitable. It says we make 20K per, approximately 20K, let's say. And then it costs, you know, 7 and 7. You know, I don't remember what the price of these were, but you know, if it was 2 grand each one, 7, that's 14 grand. So that would, you know, be a 5 grand profit. So even if it was, you know, 3 grand each, you know, a mithril and one of these steels, that's still breaking even basically. So I want to say we're actually making money still. Not too bad. And yeah, we're getting close to that 66, so do I stick it out to 70? I think I should. I mean, these things are not that expensive. 300 points is not that much to get, so. But you know, I can't have all the fun today. You know? Maybe I should spread the joy of locking in at the foundry for another time. You know, when I go for the hard wilderness diary, I could go and finish up the grind to 71. You know, I might get more mithril bars in between now and then. You know, I do have dust devils as a, I think I have to look up the task, right? But I imagine I have the level is what I'm trying to say, but there's a chance that it's like some reason 64 just came to my mind. I don't know where that came from, but let's click it and then let's go monsters. What's that 64? Dust Devil 65, so that wasn't too far off. So yeah, I guess we're not going to be getting mithril bars from that then, so. But yeah, our little account is growing up, just looking at these skills. Day by day, right? Just like me, just like everyone. Kind of just goes on its own. You just make that slow progress and it goes, so. You know, so my uncle really put an urgency on progress, and, you know, I feel like that's kind of, I try to not get too political, but there's like this, our civilization is kind of like focused on progress, like at all costs, like it is much GDP at all costs, like it's like a, I think it's missing the mountain for the anthill or whatever, I don't know, terrible at sayings, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to go to. And so yeah, I saw that in my uncle, and then I see that in, you know, certain practices. Too much focus on progressing and an urgency towards it that I think produces negative results. That and so yeah, that's kind of a lot of my vision comes from that. Because these people don't know how to chill sometimes. You know, so it goes like, you know, this efficiency, maximizing efficiency too much. That's why I try to not do too much of it in RuneScape and all these like little charts and stuff, just because I see the folly in it, I guess. I don't know. It feels like we sometimes are using the wrong measurements, you know, and so to me it's kind of like, kind of in RuneScape, it could be like, oh, you should be doing this because you're gonna make more money per hour, and then you can go and 3-tick woodcut and, you know, whatever else, right? And if people enjoy that, then I don't I think I'm very happy for people to enjoy that type of stuff. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like it's just not a the right value, right? And so, you know, progressing just to progress, I don't know if that's the... You know, so I guess, so I have a few words that come to mind, and it's just like, you know, stewardship is the word. I could have done it. I doubted it. That was going to be my first time I've ever seen it go all 10 of them at once. So I guess it is possible. You kind of have to wait for it though. You have to be like right next to it and press it and be tick perfect. Probably. And so yeah, I guess that's where my mind goes. It's like, you know, if I go to like the plants behind me, right? It's like trying to make the tallest plants is how I think about like progress, is how people sometimes think about progress. It's like, oh, you just want the tallest one. Like that's what I mean by having like the wrong metric, the wrong thing on the mind. Is like, oh, we just want to grow it as much as possible. And well, you know, I have a foundation of working with plants, as I said, of, you know, so we would get plants right from greenhouses, and if they never saw light, or if they never got hit with wind, if they were too close together, all these different things that go into it, while they go outside and then they get destroyed right away. And so it's like, if you try to maximize for progress, you're not resilient, is my belief. Oops. Well, we got 20 more minutes of stream, and pretty early on I felt the urge that I had to use the restroom. I was like, well, I know I just, like, I literally just went, so I know it's not correct. And so I've had the feeling the whole time, and I haven't had to go, I guess. So I guess we'll try to see if we can power through the last 20 minutes. Or if I'm gonna have to make like I'm gonna have to run at some point. Now I'm kind of tempted just to see if I could last the whole stream without. These little challenges I like to give myself. Don't ask why, you know, there's no logical reason. There's no angle of like anything, but for some reason it's bringing me joy, and sometimes it's all it has to do. Well, it looks like we're gonna get to 65. We'll see how much XP's after this. We'll see what the RuneScape gods say. I have a feeling I have to go back here. Very nice. What do they say about like not talking about a no-hitter? So now that I mentioned the bathroom, I kind of have to go now. All right, there's 65. I folded. My little challenge already folded. It says it will take 28 minutes. So I think I'm gonna take my 2-second break. I'll be right back, and then we'll finish up the stream in about 20 minutes. I'll be right back. The knee camera. All right, where were we? Okay, let's do some quick research then. Korvac, stout, right? Maybe it says it right here. Let's see. Shop. +4 smithing, so I was correct on that number. I was gonna see maybe it was +5 and I would get lucky. And go do an orange stew and get +5 too, but no, I think that's not. Sometimes, you know, I get these little like whims, and not every whim is needed to be followed. And so it's like, oh, if I perfectly time it and I got 66 this stream, maybe it'd be kind of cool to just buy the stout and go and go get my zombie axe right now. And well, I think we'll just have to wait until today's Thursday. Yeah, confirming that. I think we'll just wait for Monday when I stream next, and we'll push our level up. And you know, I don't know if we'll get to 70. We're getting what, 90k an hour, let's say. And then if we go to our XP calculator and go smithing, and then I type in 70, we're looking at about 300k. That's another 3 hours. And so yeah, we should be able to get to 70 next stream, because we still have 20 minutes of this one too. So let's push on then. And then we'll, you know, I want everyone to get their spoons out and start praying that I go and spoon our one and only whatchamacallit. And that would be the Warp Scepter, of course. There you go. So, spoons out. That's what they need to unleash in this game, is some spoon mithril items. What if they made gold spoons? Huh? You know, a way to... Yeah, that's my, Okay, I don't have the full idea yet, but you ready for it? So you go... It's the ultimate AFK thing, right? is, yeah, sure, you can go and convert your gold bars into like gold bracelets and whatever jewelry, but it's typically not really that worth it. But what if you can make gold spoons at the forge, and it counted towards smithing, and it doubled the or maybe silver spoons, huh? Convert your silver bars into silver spoons. And it was a decent AFK smithing activity. You know, less XP per hour than goldsmithing, but that's my my $1 million idea right now. Make some silver spoons. Although I think people would argue that that's crafting XP, but I want it to be smithing. Now that I've done my seaweed and I've collected so many, well, maybe I'll go check that out right now. So after this blade, go check it out, how much crafting XP we've banked. You know, we still have to get 60 mining, so I think that's going to be a next week thing. We'll try to get the Warp Scepter, we'll try to get the Berserker Ring, and then if we have time, we'll go and do Lunar Diplomacy. And then maybe the week after is when I'll be looking for Royal Titan partners. I'll have to you know, I wonder if I should get 65 defense and get chivalry. Might be nice too. So yeah, we'll think about that over the next week or so. You know, we still have to get this Warp Scepter, so if we don't completely spoon it, we'll probably get 65 defense that way. And then I'll probably look into see what kind of bones I have in my bank, and if you know, I did a lot of hunter, and so there's a good amount of less shards that I got. There was a good amount of, I think they even have other bones that you get, but I can't quite 100% recall. I assume I have probably 60 banked. I remember early on kind of guesstimating you know, I did a lot of Worm Colossus course for my 76 agility. I think I did it up to like 70. And so I'm pretty sure I have a good amount banked. We'll be doing Sunlight Antelopes for our for my bow. So all of those, instead of being 5 XP, are going to be 6 XP. And so maybe I go out of my way and do a little bit of hunter just to get more, get all the ammo I need for my bow, but also to get some splinters. You know, I don't know how much, we'll see. I like to kind of lay down the railroads, but that doesn't, you know, or how do I say it differently, of like, right now I'm just mapping a little bit of like potential routes. So it's not to like, I'm not trying to make any like, oh, this is what I'm doing next. But, you know, potentially I push my hunter higher and higher just from doing Sunlight Antelopes. I could just be, could stick myself in there quite a bit. It's good food, it's good ammo, of course, but then the splinters for the prayer training, and you know, I've never really looked into the Can't you make like sunfire runes or something like that? I never cared to look into it. It looked like the least fun thing in the world. But, you know, potentially that's decent. Should I pull that up just for a quick look? What is it called? Sunfire? Sunfire runes. Minimum of 10% of the player's max hit. You can make searing pages with it. Let me not make too many mistakes. So yeah, maybe that's what we, or I'm not trying to say anything, but maybe that, is part of our calculations. It says you get 4 mil an hour GP crafting these runes with 98 rune crafting, so you might need a high rune crafting level to get the most out of it. I think there's about a 0.1% chance I do this, but I kind of want to at least understand it. It's something I never looked into at all. Yeah, and then you have the raiments of the eye and all that type of stuff. I have my doubts that it's worth. I don't even know where I need fire magic at. Zulra's not weak to... Is he weak to fire? Maybe that's eventually how I kill Zulra. Is stacking up those, He's weak to fire, yeah. Maybe there's an angle there. You know, Zulra is going to be a long, long time from now. We got the Void Waker grind, and then we're probably going to do some PVM. You know, I want to get my Atlatl and stuff, so I'm not really sure how useful a blowpipe is. You know, I'm going to have to get darts for a blowpipe. You usually need to bring 2 ranged weapons, you know, like a crossbow and a blowpipe or something. Like there's not that many places where it's like only bring a blowpipe. And those places you can usually survive with an Atlatl instead. There might be some DPS loss, there might be some convenience having that spec on it, and yeah, I know a blowpipe is very strong. But you know, the Atlatl will do. But yeah, that kind of seems fun. Of maybe before we do Zulra, we look into utilizing that fire weakness against him a little bit more and go and do my Winter Todd. And the more I speak, the more unlikely it is that I'm going to want to do Winter Todd to go do Zulra, to get this fire book, to go and, you know, so on and so forth. You know, before a lot of things that came into this game Wintertod was like the king for Ironman at the start, and I never really cared for it, I guess, of like, you know, I don't know, maybe farming contracts kind of came in. I don't really remember a pre-farming contract time. And so I think, yeah, what I'm trying to say is I think farming contracts are like the main value that took away from Wintertod. Because you'd get like seeds and you would get herbs. And now, well, you get tree seeds and you get herb seeds from doing contracts instead. And that's just a less committed way, I think, of doing it. I guess we can try one more. We'll go into a little bit of overtime if we have to. Let's go shop. Probably have a lot of points now. Yeah, look at that. Should I just buy randomly and hope for the best? You get unlocked. You get unlocked. You get unlocked. You get unlocked. Why not? Let's just get them all. Oh yeah, we just bought that one. Instant pay. Yeah, I used to like go to like Reddit and type in, or you know, go to Google and it would take me to Reddit, but you know, optimal order of buying things at the Giants Foundry and but it's one of those things that just it really doesn't matter. And so yeah, I have to make this thumbnail. Oh boy. I think I just have to commit to, you know, so the bigger your face is in a thumbnail, I think it's like the better the thumbnail ends up doing. And so I have been kind of doing it where you can see my shirt in the image. So if I go down that route, it's kind of like I'm losing my formula, I guess. And I guess it's something I can live with. I don't know if I want to do a giant face, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have to get another camera. I use my what's it called? So the way I get my pictures is I use my webcam to capture video, and then I scroll through the video looking for the action, the best shot, and then I have to take that, and I should really get like a green screen or some type of thing too, because it doesn't always do the best. But yeah, that's the our stream is coming to an end soon. That's our final song. And we were in the forge today. Started with some shopscape, some farming, of course. So, you know, no matter what, we keep our stewardship alive. We start with farming. We slowly get our way to 99 farming. I still don't know. You know, we should probably take some bets on what my first 99 is going to be. Is it going to be 99 farming, 99 sailing, 99 hit points, or 99 magic? I think those are the four. The four contenders. My AFK moneymaker. My daily habit. and, you know, obviously combat, and then, you know, obviously magic. So, you know, I think someone had said 99 hit points is the most likely, and I think if I was a betting man, that's where I would go. So it'd be kind of nice to get, you know, I think I lied. I just remembered. I had said that 99 farming was my first 99 on my group Ironman, and I just had a memory that I went and I had been preserving my white hit point cape untrimmed. I had, you know, so you can like grab it, drop it, get the other cape, and then pick up the untrimmed one. So that was my first 99. I'm a liar. I'm a fraud. I have to come clean to you guys. The account's over. I broke all social trusts, and I regret to inform you that I have to be done. My memory's not perfect. And we could go to 99 smithing, you know, throw in the real wild card. Go and do motherload mine. Go and get my coal bag. Get my work on. So let's hand in our last sword of the day. That's it for the stream. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care now.